Hey, good morning. This is Morning Perfect Base, and I hope you're having a good morning. It's redundant to say that if you've already said need shovels. Right. Anyway, this is my perfect base, and I'm going to work on it a little bit each day. And at the end of a month, I'm going to see how much progress I have made. I'm actually going to work on this one for the top this time. It's very hard to think and do stuff at the same time. So that is my goal here at Morning Perfect Base. Quite inoffensive news. One of these days, that goal is going to come to pass. So today is just an opinion piece. I'm just going to go and just say and do. So not a lot of research, not a lot of facts, just a lot of how it feels about the stuff. That was actually my most popular one for that mix-up week I did last month. So we're just going to see how that turns out. Anyway, now this broke. Also, I got started on this a little late in the day, so I'm probably going to have to break this up just to get some sleep. Why manipulative advertising matters. I said I would talk about this, and I talked about Facebook earlier this week and personal information being used to manipulate people. I know there are people out there who are fine with manipulative advertising because they're confident they'll never fall for manipulative advertising or fake news or other lies. They can't be lied to, I guess. The paragons of skepticism who are just totally resistant to the folly, common among lesser men, I suppose, of believing obvious bullshit because believing that makes those men feel better than their neighbor. Manipulation, in this case, refers specifically to believing very targeted misinformation using weak points in an individual's ability to discern truth from falsehood. Finding an individual's reasoning flaws and using them to wedge in falsehoods and motivate them to act, to take actions to which they would normally be opposed, to make people act against their own, not their own self-interest, then against their own impulses to act. So on, gotta go to bed here right quick. If the sarcasm, from before wasn't obvious enough, you aren't above jack shit. And believing you are above being fooled is like the first and last piece of evidence we all need to know that you're not above being fooled. I mean, it puts you squarely into the group of people who fall for manipulative ego-stroking lies that will compel you to act against your interests. Everyone's vulnerable to this and everyone has to be careful about it. And even if you're careful, you can still fall prey to it. Fucking idiot. Anyway, I do not know how anything other than pure ego motivates a person to believe that they cannot be a victim of something like this. These are, whoa, shit and fuck. Oh. Die, chicken. Feel my wrath. Fucking, I still don't think I got that guy. Damn it. I'm running out of arrows here. Oh, no, I'm not. I stocked back up on arrows recently. Alright, collect my arrows of shame. Jesus. There we go. Collect my experience of shame. Collect my arrows of shame. Wow. Okay, then. 2, you live in a society. So if you're listening to this, you probably live in a democratic fucking society. And whether it's real stocks or personal stocks, if you are going to laugh at other people failing while your personal stocks go up, you're a garbage fucking person. Look, I understand we all have to have some happiness, and thinking you're better than other people is a way to get a small amount of happiness in this crapsack world. But for fuck's sake, get a hobby. Do some dope. Masturbate. Just, also say, hey, stop manipulating people. It isn't that hard to find something else you enjoy more than feeling better than other people who are destroying the fabric of society. Maybe instead of laughing at things which fray the edges of society, you could just get your shit together and, hate it when people lie and manipulate others. You could have, a moral, principled opposition to that. Unless you don't, I guess. But, people should make informed, rational decisions about their surroundings and their actions. And most people don't, but you can distinguish between an imperfect system and a system which has no desire to be perfect. Being indifferent to that means you have the ability to make a right decision about truth, and you've decided not to out of ignorance or misinformation or gross moral neglect. I couldn't imagine a person who could be so aggressively indifferent to what all of the people who live in the world with them, whether those people believe the truth or the falsehood. Unless, of course, that person thinks those falsehoods benefit them, in which case you're a garbage person and you don't really believe in democracy. You believe you know what's better for everyone else. Anyway, a social co-op. I talked about an alternative to Facebook a couple days ago, and that's the problem with Facebook is that it's got servers and people use it and it's free to use, but servers and programmers cost money. So people, because your information has value, people will sell your information. So the option then is to say, hey, I'm going to pay for this service with the understanding that it will not sell my information. A publicly available social media platform which does not need to sell. I had pizza. I got crazy burps. I'm just trying to keep them down. Which does not need to sell information to sustain itself. But then, of course, if it's a privately held company, and because we accept for some reason that companies have no obligation except to make money, no moral obligations beyond making money, then if you pay for the service, they're still going to sell that to get money for their shareholders. So the next option then is a social media platform where everyone who's on it pays money into it as a shareholder, a social media co-op, where it's collectively administrated and managed and paid for by the people who use it. And that doesn't mean that they won't then, that 51% of those people won't volunteer to sell the information of the other 49% for money. But it seems like a good bulwark. Like that's the derived answer to the social media problem. The issue with that, of course, is that if you pay for a social media platform, it's not going to be full of Russian bots. Instead of having 1 million followers, you're going to have 1,000 followers. And you won't be able to bamboozle advertisers into signing up for these inflated social media accounts. It's going to be a harder sell for anyone trying to use it, because while current social media sites lack that critical mass, they appear to have that critical mass that makes them work. So anyway, social media co-op as a social media business structure is a really good one. And I wasn't the first person to have that idea. Social.coop exists, and I'm looking at it. It seems interesting. Again, the cost factor is an issue, but it might be worth doing. It's never going to take off. I mean, the teenagers and the bots which drive social media, the fraudulent, impulsive consuming accounts, and agenda profit-driven accounts are vital to the existence of social media as we know it. And therefore, unless you accept a slightly more bread and water social media platform, which people won't, then, alternative social media platforms will not be viable. And so they are not, of course. Stoneman Douglas editorial. Yes, I try to rarely ever tell you to just go read the thing, but the Stoneman Douglas editorial, it's a survivor of the Stoneman Douglas shooting, where she talks about the expectations by some gaping assholes on Twitter that somehow because she and her classmates did not befriend this guy who was clearly established to be aggressive and dangerous and harmful, that somehow they are at fault for his shooting spree. I mean, I'm amazed that idea exists. I would love to ask some of the leading conservative minds of our day how their battle against teenagers who survived a shooting is going for them. I hope poorly. Not all conservatives, just the stupid gun nut ones. The people who are out there selling books to conservatives because they know how stupid some of these people are. I try not to portray members of different political spectrums as being completely profit-driven, But when Newt Gingrich was trending on Twitter, his first tweet was, "Hey, check out my seminar." So, I mean, opportunistic, maybe, totally profit-driven, I don't know. Anyway, you should definitely read the editorial is what I'm saying. It's linked below. The best part is, if my slide doesn't change on me, it is not the obligation of children to befriend classmates who have demonstrated aggressive, unpredictable, or violent tendencies. It is the responsibility of the school administration and the guidance department to seek out those students and get them the help they need, even if it is extremely specialized attention that cannot be provided at the same institution. Reasonable, simple, what's not to agree with there? You shouldn't crowdsource taking care of children who need help. I don't think you can just throw straight A students at D students and have those outcomes change. Maybe just for grades, yes. But for the kind of kid that this seemed, where he had ongoing, known emotional violence issues, you know, I don't know if you can put that on your straight A students. What's next? Yes, next opinion. Believing that life is fair, correlated with looking good. I think people feel like they're entitled to things. So whenever like a rich person or a good looking person gets good things, gets good things in life, I think they tend to feel that that's how things should be and that therefore life is fair. I don't mean that as like a critique. I think that's how we all are. If we were born, you know, with wealth or with good looks. Chris, why are you stupid? I'm gonna follow this down just to make sure. Well, I probably got a lot of things to pick up. 2 torches that need to be put back down. I think we all kind of see it that way. And come on, come down, go away, piece of shit, fuck you. Okay. Yeah, I think we all have a tendency to see it that way. It kind of feels like one of those no shit studies, but you know, it is important to have these conversations and to discuss these paradigms. You know, whenever you're born with advantages, you feel like that's just. And when you're born with disadvantages, the world feels unjust. I think that's pretty straightforward. It is creepy how a set of physical characteristics, which rarely affect you, determines so much of your life. You know, I mean, that's... Oh, wow, really? Again? Maybe if I'd use iron for these things, but I have a feeling I'd go through some iron pretty quickly. But, you know, there's a comment in the notes about athletic butterfaces. I'm going to miss that one. Sorry, buddy. I know a lot of people who work hard to look good, and they do. There are a lot of people who work hard. I mean, mad props to the world's athletic butterfaces. But if you're born looking better or having better genes, the same work yields stronger results, you know? There is a lottery when you're born, and it's kind of shitty. You wish everyone could be happy. And I think it's really easy for successful people or people who are born lucky, which I would put at the top of that list, you know, most Americans, to say, hey, we all need our individuality, so therefore some people have to be born with more and some people have to be born with less. Yeah, I don't know. If the people who are born with more were a little more, say, forthcoming and giving about their gifts, you know, I'd be more behind that. Anyway, I'm a cheap bastard about my comics from the discount bin. This is Disco Comics. I'm halfway through the slide. Today's comic is Mystery PI number 3, written by Ashwin Pandey with art by Arjuna Suzinti. It's good. I like it. It's like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but for magical beings instead of cartoons. It features kaiju fights, like cockfights, but with kaiju. Talking Birdman who steals children's souls. And a cool golem named Amos who has a hat and a trench coat. I kind of bought it because it had an intriguing cover. And I expected very little of it. You know, most of the Disco comics that I review here are garbage. They're just real bad. Mystery is a PI, though, and he's hunting down kids' lost souls, and that starts with the local chief of police whose daughter's soul has been stolen. Local PD don't know how to deal with magic stuff, so they call in Mystery. This all kind of follows. This is a plot you've seen before. I like that it challenges the genre's tendency to have contacts that appear when a PI needs them and disappear when they don't. And that turns into a part of a lightly done character arc for Mystery that, again, works perfectly with the story. I don't know if it dovetails, but it works together and nothing gets in anything else's way. I like that it it's willing to challenge those tropes. It appeals to genuine good impulses, even amongst like literal soul-stealing monsters. I really like it. I like how it feels. I like how it flows. I am interested in reading more of this. So, it's rare that I find a diamond in the rough in the damn it. In the Disco Comics milieu, but there it is. Mystery PI. So I'm going to look upon my works. Oh, wow. I'm remembering there were trees here. Oh, I'm wondering if this was a jumping gap. Okay. That works. So this is really cut down. Like, we used to have all kinds of stuff here. Remember, this is like a whole pathway. And now it's just a big gap. Oh, man. I remember when I came around here and there were guys just in the water and had to fight them. Am I going to dig up here? Yeah, I'm going to dig up and inside here. So I got to dirt the rest of this in. So anyway, that's my progress this week. Let me show the progress over here. Whoop. I don't know how well you can see it. Yeah, no. Look at that. Look upon my works ye mighty. And I think this one's gonna have chickens in it. So I lured some chickens in. It looks like those chickens bailed on me. Possibly because they're flying birds and they don't like being in the places where I tell them to be. Stupid birds. Oh, they may have just gone through that entire hole there because I haven't put up doors yet. What's in here? Ugh, more the same. Yeah, let's pick up this shit. Now I'm going to take it over to the storage room. So, that's all I got for today. So, until I have a good sign off, guys.